what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 1990 Mazda B2600i LE-5 Cab Plus. Up front is a 2.6 liter inline 4 and down below is a 5-speed manual transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this B2600 for two reasons. First of all, if you guys know me, I am a big Mazda fan. I love Mazdas, I've owned 5 of them, and I will continue to love the brand. But the second reason is that this is a 2600. This got the bigger 2.6 as opposed to the 2.2 liter found in the B2200. It's a very, very clean example, and I'm excited to share this little piece of 90s automotive history with you today. But if you'd like to share your piece of automotive history with me, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form, takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. But let's get back to that 2.6 liter inline 4. Well, it's not a crazy power monster. It only makes 121 horsepower, but you do feel a nice additional bit of torque over the 2200. For driving around at slow speeds, you definitely notice that, and that is a big, big advantage of that 0.4 displacement difference. Now, this engine was actually new for 1989, but before then, they also made the B2600, but it had a Mitsubishi 2.6 liter in it that made barely over 100 horsepower and breathed through a carburetor. So this is the engine that you want in terms of this series of pickup truck, and I'm very happy with it. Like I said, paired to it is a 5-speed manual transmission. It's an absolute joy. Nice and easy into gear, really clicky, really responsive. Clutch is nice and light and not scary, and I like that a lot. Last but not least, this particular B2600 is 4-wheel drive, and we'll talk about how to select that a little bit later on. So how does it feel to actually drive the B2600? It drives like a Japanese car from the 80s, and that is my sweet spot. The steering, although it is a little vague because of that steering box, it actually is decently good. Visibility is great. Acceleration is fine for a 4-cylinder truck. I'm not really expecting the world. However, if you've driven like a Nissan hardbody or Toyota pickup from the same era, you're gonna understand exactly how this feels. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have a reddish-orange gauge cluster that makes me very, very happy. Off to the left, I have my fuel, speedometer and tachometer in the center, temperature off to the right, and I do actually get a digital clock. The reason this gauge cluster makes me so happy is that it's nearly identical to the Mazda RX-7 from the mid-80s, of which I own 2 of, so it brings back very good memories. The steering wheel also brings back good memories because it's directly plopped right out of the RX-7 and into the B2600. Now, it could be vice versa, it could have just been a parts bin part, but in my world, this is an RX-7 steering wheel and nothing else. Off to the left, I do have a climate control vent, and moving out of the door, we have manual windows. Moving into the center, we do get our climate controls. This was originally an R12 pickup truck, however, it's since been changed to R134A, but it does have air conditioning because the LE-5 was actually the top trim level, so this got all those bells and whistles that you love to see. Then I do get a little cubby, a pull-out ashtray, and the radio, very reminiscent of the late 80s FC RX-7. And of course, the owner has a couple of instant classic cassettes down below. Moving into the center console, we have the 2 shifters. So off to the right, we have our gear shifter, 5-speed manual transmission. Looks good, feels good, operates, does the job. That's all I'm asking. Then we have our 4-wheel drive selector to the left. So of course we have 4 low, neutral, 2 high, and 4 high. Then we do have a little cubby, which is not a cup holder, but we don't have any actual cup holders here in the B2600. There are these little divots for the drive-in movie theater inside the glove box, but those don't count as cup holders as well. So the Mazda B2600 fails the big friggin' bottle test. Then we do get a little center console with only the necessities inside. Shout out to Del Taco. And then we gotta talk about the seats. The seats are so unapologetically 90s. This nice pattern. It almost feels like a sweater that your grandma would send you to school in, and I love that about it. A very nostalgic feel. And they are very comfortable. It does have 3-point seat belts, and overall, no complaints. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats. So let's go do a back seat review. All right, so I'm getting in from the passenger side today because this Okay, that was really loud, my apologies. This truck was actually designed to get in from the passenger side, and I'll explain in a second. Although easy is a relative word. I didn't realize I completely blocked you out, I'm sorry. So in the back of the B2600, it was designed to be able to be accessed from the passenger side a lot easier. So there's a foot-operated pedal to help with that. So I can hit that with my foot, and that'll put the seat forward and block the pretty view of my face, and it slides forward as well. And there's a grab handle up here to help get in and out. Once I am back here, nothing really to write home about, although these seats do come up and there is storage down below the seats if you would like that. However, this is what Mazda calls the Cab Plus, the added back seats behind the front row. And this was kind of new for this era. Not really before the 1980s did we see little pickup trucks with second rows, or really any pickup trucks with second rows. The reason I bring that up is because the owner actually left me with a list of what every other company called their four-seater pickup trucks, or their extended cabs. So Mazda had the Cab Plus, Mitsubishi had the Macro Cab, Toyota was the Extra Cab, Isuzu Pup was the Space Cab, Nissan was the King Cab, Chevy S10 was the Maxi Cab, and the Ford Ranger was the Super Cab. So they all had different names for having four-seater trucks, or extended cabins. That's pretty interesting to me. So this is the Cab Plus. Back here is not great. It's not awful either. If I had to fit people back here, I can, and that's all they really intended it to be. Let's hop out now. We'll take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, so we're on the back of the Mazda B2600. Now, this is not a factory Mazda cap. However, it is made for the B2600, and you can usually tell up here on the corners. So this actually is a proper 2600 camper top. Turn those two knobs and you can fold this up. Here's my equipment back here. Not really anything cool, but this is a Mazda bed liner. Again, this truck is very, very original for the most part, so you love to see stuff like that. Little handle down here, and here is the tailgate. So nothing really too crazy back here, but very, very cool to see. Now we got to talk about the looks, and I love the look of the B2600. It just has that warm sense of nostalgia for me. It's blocky, it's chunky, and yet it's also little. It's not super dense, and I like that a lot. It's light and airy while taking up as little cubic feet as possible. I also love the blue color. It has been repainted, although it is a factory color, but it was repainted by the owner, and he did a fantastic job. So really, really a big fan of that. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving a Mazda B2600 from 1990? Well, I have such a love for these trucks, not because they're Mazda, although that badge at the front does help its case a little bit in my book. What I love is these little trucks that were genuinely little, but genuinely tough. And when I talk about that, I also mean the hard body. I also mean the Toyota pickup. I also mean the little Ford Rangers. This was a great size for pickup truck. It wasn't a giant automobile that takes an Olympic swimming pool just to fill up the gas tank once a week. This thing sips on gas, and it's honest. It's not trying to be those big, brutal 4x4s. This has four-wheel drive, yes, but genuinely only to be used if it's ever gotten stuck. It's not a hardcore four-wheel drive truck. This truck doesn't have tattoos from every trail that it's gone down and conquered. You won't find any Moab stickers on the back of this. Even if it has been to Moab, it's not a braggiose truck, and that's the best part. That's what makes this truck stand out from the rest. This truck doesn't think that it's worthy of praise. But through all the people I've met in my life, the people that don't think that they deserve the praise actually deserve it the most. And so today, let's praise the B2600. Let's say thank you for everything that it is. And while it does have some shortcomings, none of them are detrimental. All of them are livable. And I know that this little truck would be very welcome in my driveway at home. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Brett for letting me take out his 1990 Mazda B2600. Such a cool piece of Mazda's history. Such a great little truck. I love these stupid little things so much. And I mean that with my whole heart. Brett has been absolutely awesome to work with. I also filmed his 1970 Dodge Challenger. that you should see on the channel somewhat soon, so be on the lookout for that. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.